day out on the hill with some cracking people. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Good on you, Ian.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. That's us. We reached the lock-in, just looking up to the buttresses now, and we're going to make our way around to the crash site and then do our dedication to the man of the mountain.
Was there somebody here last night?
Last night?
Yeah, what was happening last
the mountain
night?
rescue boys came up last night from Lossiemouth and put a plaque on replaced the plaque on the propeller. So we're going to go and have a look at that now as well. And
okay then.
just check out their handiwork and see how good a job they did.
Right, good. Well, I'm going to try and keep up with you. I'm just going to pan round here. There's a bit of an action man next, and last guy, young Jenny. And the good looking guy there with the curly hair is called is Wooly McRitchie, who happens to be mega famous. And he's come all the way up from Bali to be here today. And on the right here is the ultra famous Tom Taylor.
A god walking
here. And
legend.
Tom's going to give us a bit of waffle on you, Tom.
I think how it is an honour to be out on the hill with these famous guys, but also on such a day of commemoration. So I think it's wonderful, and we've got a lovely day. What could be better? Great company.
Good on you, Tom. Well, I'm going to try and keep up with you lot, because just remember that yous are all toy boys compared to me.
Still young at heart, Pete.
Young at heart, and that's where it all happened way back in 1951. And that's the triple buttresses on Ben A. And away up in the top right there is Fuselage Gully, where the aircraft crashed right on the top. So we're going to nip round now to see the bottom of the site and commemorate the new sign on the prop. Okay.
It's a special day. Dad's 90th birthday. This was a very poignant place for my dad. I came up here in 1976 with him, 25 years after the accident. It was the first time I came up here. I've only been up here twice since, and I didn't realise at that time just how poignant this place was to my dad. And even when I joined the Air Force, it was quite a while before I knew the full story. He didn't talk about it. I knew about the pictures. That was as far as it went. And he was just so affected by what he did here. It was a massive part of his life, and I think, you know, everybody here knows just how much a part of this mountain it's in him. I thank you all very, very much for coming up here. Some prestigious people, some classic men from MRT days, and they all held him in high regard, as did we. He was a special, special man. We'll all miss him big time. I've got a wee poem I'd like to read. It's the Ben A poem, which Heavy's kindly allowed me to read. Unseen from the road, the majestic cliffs are hidden. The long walk views expanding as we climb. Leagach, brooding in the mist, is watching. As usual, we meet a family of deer. They've been here for many, many years. What have they seen? Great cliffs sculptured by time and nature. Wreckage glinting in the sun. This is a wonderful, poignant place. Only to those who look and see. How mighty is this Corrie, this Torridon giant, Ben A. To Joss.
Josh.
I don't even like whiskey.
Bless you all. Thank you.
That was his favourite drop.
Brilliant, folk.
Thank you for a great day.
And thank
Appreciate
the
it.
Glossy team for
Yeah, absolutely. That is awesome.
Fantastic.
They've done such a
William
good job of that.
glory.
You coming down or what?
You've never done anything, did you? So far
Brilliant.
as you walked for 10 years, will you?
So proud of him.
Which is good, isn't it? Maybe need I kind of.
You in the house?
What a day, Josh. Just get us down safely.
Yeah, we don't want to call out MR. Bless you, Father.
Bless you.
Right then, John.
Hello.
Thanks very much for taking us from Forest to the Sugar Bowl on Cairngorm, and thanks for all the blether at the wee cafe, the Mountain Cafe. So what are you going to do while we're away in the wandering into Larrygrew?
I'm going to go fishing, and I'm going to wait for a phone call to come and pick you up from somewhere remote, just in case. Anyway, I hope that it goes well for you and that you have better weather than now. It's just started raining, and have a great time.
What we want you to do, John, is to go back and do the Sundance.
The Sundance. Well, this is Scotland.
This is Scotland, and you've got to expect that. Right, have we got? Thanks very much for that, John. So we'll in the meanwhile, we'll just go off and talk about you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, good on you.
Anyway.
Right, is Tom going to give me any waffle?
Tom is just sorting himself out and looking forward to the prospect of watching your heels.
Good on you,
left,
Tom.
Left, right.
Right. Okay, well, I'm sure somebody upstairs is looking after us, and I'm going to try and keep up with you, Tom. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, there we are. So we're going to have a wee stop down there, Tom, and check the gear before we go on. Right. I'm just having a wee breather now to adjust boots and things before we get into the kind of difficult place. And Tom's getting into his Action Man kit, and then we'll cross this bridge and up onto the moorland. You're making that walking look easy now, Tom. Good.
Pete's asked
Good.
me to give you a bit of, not waffle, but waffle.
Waffle.
And so, looking to my left, I can see a few scars up there, human scars, like the car park, etc., etc. But then we move right, and we've got Korean Trech, or Korean Schnechte as some people call it, and Korean Lochen. And they look absolutely pristine, and the visibility is great. And over here, we're looking onto the, to my right, we're looking onto the monolith, and down onto a nice wee loch in Elan, which we've walked around quite recently for the RAF Mountain Rescue reunion. And other than that, and to save Pete wasting all his batteries on me, I can tell you there's a few wee patches of snow ahead, and I'm just going to go bully bully, pulley pulley, bye!
Right then, Tom, what was the experience coming through that gap then?
It was like a motorway. It was smooth as anything. Boulders that wanted to move by themselves just when you were about to step on them and on them. And Pete, you don't mind the bad pattern, a blinder.
Oh, for God's sake.
We took a nice line as usual, and here we are, almost on a proper path.
Ready for lunch?
We're ready for lunch.
Right, well let's go and have lunch, Tom. You're making that look easy now, Tom. Tom.
We're now coming up to the Pools of Dee. In fact, we're going over the Bialach, which is 835 metres, and it's lovely evening.
What's the waffle now, Tom?
Well, we're coming up to the Bialik, approaching the Pools of Dee, and the path is a wee bit wobbly, and I'm a bit wobbly. But it's a lovely evening, and the Pools of Dee are just over the top, and we've got about 1 kilometre and a wee bit to go, hopefully, to pitch our camp.
Okay then, Tom, I'll try and keep up with you. Don't leave me behind.
No!
No!
Well, we're just coming down to the most elusive pools of Dee. In fact, we're wondering if this is a mirage, but no, I think it might be the Pools of Dee.
Good on you, Tom. You've done well today, thanks very much. Right, we need to get we need to get a site for the tent. You're going down to the right, Tom. And we need to get the old tent up and have a brew. See you later. You think so?
Yes.
Did you have a good night's sleep? Right, are you giving us a bit of waffle now that you're awake?
Now that I'm awake.
What waffle are you giving me today at the Pools of Dee?
Yeah, not much.
Are you not doing much waffle?
Oh! Well, it's a beautiful morning and the sun is creeping down the hill towards us. And we've had a much better night than we had up beside Avichin.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of people pass by, but only 4 so far. And we're going to take the tent down and be on our way within the next 20 hours.
Oh, wonderful, Tom. Okay, then I'll try and keep up with you. Poly.
Path there. It's just below where this goes down, but it's very.
Be careful. Come to your right a bit. Oh, okay. Right then, Tom, what waffle have you got for me now?
Well, we've just passed through, for a complete and absolute change, yet another horrible boulder field. And with a bit of luck, we're now going to be more on a proper path. And we're heading off for Career Bothy to see how the land lies there, and we'll make our minds up as to where we go, whether we carry on or what. Got about 4 and a bit k's to go to Crewe.
Okay, Tom, I'll try and keep up with you.
Well, here we are sitting at the side of the barn in the Larragrew, and we're looking at Devil's Point and Angel's Peak, swinging round to Cairntoul, and then the big corrie, Angara corrie, and Bray is just behind this ridge here. And they're magnificent mountains, and the weather's fantastic. It's almost too good, but we're certainly not arguing. and the company is fantastic, and all in all, it's a great day.
Well, thank you for that bit of waffle, Tom. We'll continue on now and see if I can keep up with you.
Aye, no bad.
You have a good skip then?
Aye, a nice cup of tea,
Yeah, that can't be bad.
full of milk and sugar.
Yeah, oh, definitely sugar, Tom. That was the only place we could get last night after coming round that path. And we're heading for Braemar today. And hopefully on to some nice smooth paths, tracks, roads, whatever. And it's another fantastic looking day. Yeah, it was quite a comfortable sight in the end, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we managed to get some good water down there. And I got my soup, and you've got your tea. And how you can drink that tea without milk and sugar is beyond me. But if it makes you a happy bunny, Tom, we'll run with that.
Aye, it's good.
Right, we're in no rush today. We're going to dilly-dally down this glen and catch a bus to Aberdeen and get the train back to Forres. Right then, Tom, what waffle have you got for me today?
Well, here we are on day number 3, and we're about to have our second brew in a beautiful morning, and we're going to pack the tent up and we're going to have to go down to Louisburg, Derry Lodge, and finally Braemar.
What's going to happen then?
We're going to hope to catch a bus, and we're getting the bus, which I think goes roughly every hour, and we may even get a coffee at Braemar and have something to drink.
Oh, wonderful.
Then we're going to go to Aberdeen, we're going to catch a train, and then we're going home, and we're going to have the most welcome thing in the world, which is a shower.
Well said, Tom.
Making it just that, and that shouldn't take any electricity whatsoever.
No, don't go for the water yet, Tom. That's that's quite a steep bank. Just hold on a minute and we'll get the water. So what was it like crossing that then, Tom?
It was exciting, and you did very well, Pete. Thank you very much
Don't worry.
for all the assistance.
No, we'll just talk about it, Tom.
Yeah, we had a really exciting time, but tried to do it myself.
No, we're all right.
Yeah.
Right,
Thanks again.
Right, well, are we ready for wandering down the glen now?
We're wandering. Alright, let's hope it's
Okay. Right, let's go then. Well then, Tom, now that we're back at your wee hussy in the forest after having been on a wee wander, what's your feelings on that 3-day adventure that we've just had?
Well, I think we've just had a wonderful 3 days, and it started off with John being absolutely, as he is, a navigator, bang on time, picking us up, taking us up the road to Aviemore, where we had a breakfast that consisted of, I think, 2 coffees and the biggest bit of carrot cake, which was very tasty carrot cake,
Yeah.
that I think we'd ever been dished out with.
Yeah.
So following that, we went off up to the Sugar Bowl and dropped off by John, and we scooted up the good path, which was unfortunately punctuated by ditches that were about anything up to about 3 feet deep and 2 foot across, into which, after talking to a couple, I inadvertently stepped and scraped my leg, but much worse, broke one of the ski poles that I've had for about 25 years.
God.
Anyway, that aside, we carried on to the Calamine Gap, which had huge boulders, some of them about the size of cars, with the attendant holes that were just ready to break your legs. And Pete did a magnificent job of guiding me across, first of all finding the best route and then telling me where the stones were, etc. Thank you very much for that, Pete.
Thank you.
And then we got onto the path again, which was at first very good, and down into the Larrigrew itself. Although I omitted to say that we had some good views of Bray Riach on the way. And then we got down into the dark recesses of the Larrigrew, and we proceeded up. At first quite good, then the path started to get a bit obscure in places, and finally we were confronted by the biggest, longest boulder field, much smaller boulders, but unstable and difficult to get across, particularly for myself. And again, Pete guided me across those. Wonderful job, Pete. And we got over the top, and though it was beginning to get a bit late, we were blessed with lots of light still. And then we passed one pool and got on to another pool of D, whereupon we set up camp, and we got water there fine, and we had some adventures putting the tent up, but we know how to do it now.
Yeah.
And you'd have thought that after doing it a couple of years ago we would have cracked it, but never mind, we prevailed. And then we got up. We had our dinner, of course, which was made up as it was for most of the nights, though Pete could hardly consume it all, a dried food thing from Norway. And we set off next morning, and we got down past the Career Bothy, but on the way we had tremendous views of the Corries, with quite a lot of snow on the top, and we met some smashing people on the way. A few people who, as Pete would say, if they smiled they would break their face, but yeah, generally speaking they were very nice and chatty, and they were interesting people. Then, so we got to Career Bothy, or adjacent or across from Career Bothy, decided to carry on, which was a good idea, and we carried on until it was fairly late. And going down the glen, we got a surprisingly good and soft campsite, and even better was super duper running water that Pete found at a little waterfally thing and filled up the water container there. And we dined again and off again next morning. Very long day with
2 river crossings, and we passed Derry Lodge, which is sadly in a dilapidated state, and then we came eventually to Mar Lodge, and we had a nice view of that, and then we made progress off down the road, and finally we hit Braemar, and we really fell on our feet here in finding the Braemar Lodge Hotel, and Ronnie, Fiona, Kirsty, Tracy and the chef all treated us wonderfully, and we had a super meal, nice drink to celebrate the end of the walk, and got up next morning, nice breakfast, said cheerio to those nice people, caught the bus to Aberdeen, quite a long journey, 2.25 or so hours, and via the Apple shop we came home by train and taxi, and all in all it was quite challenging but a smashing trip with the best of company. And thank you very much, Pete. That was very good, Tom, but you forgot to mention the music in the night.
The music in the night, what Peter's referring to there is that I had to get up on the second night, and I have this thing that blows, a little motory blower thing that blows up the mattress, and inadvertently I moved it, broke the lid off the top, fortunately temporarily, and I couldn't, in the dark, I couldn't put it back on again, and it woke up Pete, who fortunately didn't jump up and down and create, he just had a bit of a laugh, and we finally got back to sleep again. But that was then dubbed the music in the night. Yeah.
Well, that was a wonderful story, Tom. So God willing, we'll do something again next year, but most probably in a bit of a lower scale.
Lower key.
Lower key. Anyway, thanks very much for that, Tom. It was a really great journey. It was my pleasure. And until the next time, Tom, bye.
Bye.